So it's the start of a new year, 2020. Thank you, in the rearview mirror. We never have to think about it again, but we probably will, just as a point of reference, and that's not a bad thing. So we're starting a new year. This is something that I learned several years ago, and I call it the word for the year. And what the word for the year is to me and to my team, to my family, is it's an encouragement, it's an inspiration, it's a new way to look at the new year. And it challenges me to think about the things that are important to me, the things I want to accomplish. Some of them build from one year to the next. Several years ago, my word for the year was mostly to myself, but it had a huge impact on the people around me. And the word was don't be a prickly person. Make sure that you're not being a prickly person to others around you. And what that was a constant reminder of myself that sometimes I can get a little agitated. Sometimes when I have too much going on, entrepreneurs like me, we like to be really active. We like to be stimulated. We like new things. And so sometimes I take on more than I should. And it's fun for a while, but it's really draining to the people around us. So I made a commitment to myself, and what I did is I articulated. I told the people that are close to me, my family, my team that's part of my inner circle. I let them know that my goal was to not be a prickly person in the new year, and so they were able to recognize the times that I was holding myself back, when I was challenging myself, and I was trying to rise to the occasion and be a better person. And it sounds like a very simple thing, but it has a pretty big impact. And the mind monsters that I talked about before, the ones that work with extremes, you always and you never, that's a mind monster. That's something that will undermine your ability to be successful. And it's not reality, because there's very few things that are that absolute about who we are that we can't have a positive impact on, right? So that was my word for the year a couple of years ago. And then my business coach and spiritual advisor, he said that my word, he helped me with my new word for the next year, which is not to be a prickly person with myself. Maybe you can relate to that. I am really hard on myself. I think that it is something that a lot of entrepreneurs suffer from, this notion of it's never enough, right? And so I'm hard on myself. And instead of celebrating the fact that I set a goal and I got 80% of the way there, and if I hadn't set the goal, I wouldn't have anything, right? As Zig Ziglar said, you will accomplish 100% of the goals that you don't create, right? If you don't have a goal, then you're gonna hit 100% of all those goals that you don't set. When you set goals for yourself, well, that's like perfect. If you go 80% of the way, Dan Sullivan calls that the gap between what you accomplished and what you thought you'd accomplish, right? Which is this thing about perfection. And so as a result, I could be pretty hard on myself. I'd be like, I would focus on that 10 or 20% that I didn't accomplish, instead of focusing on that 80% that I did accomplish. And it's like, wow, look at this. And the same thing happens with our team, right? We can focus on their accomplishments, right? It's like we had an aggressive budget for the year. We had aggressive goals for the year. We got 95% of the way there. Good job, right? We tried to do some different things. We succeeded in 3 of them, and 1 of them didn't go so well, but we learned a lot. So what's the take home from that? Taking time to explore those things, sort of debriefing the things that didn't go right, and using that as a foundation, as ammunition for what the next phase in your business is. So this is all a result of me deciding that I wasn't going to be hard on myself, that I wasn't going to be prickly with myself, that the same sort of the expression that I had with other people, I would express to myself. The same thought that I had about other people, about caring about other people, I recognized, and my spiritual advisor did too, that I needed to apply that to myself, right? And being too hard on yourself, it doesn't really get you where you need to go. I think that there are people out there that they respond really well to negative, to a constant, well, it wasn't this, wasn't that, wasn't this, wasn't that. I don't work well with those people. My trainer is a really positive guy. He'll tell me all the things I do well, and when I'm not doing something well, he'll give me the insight in order to make a small change to get better results. And the same thing is true of the other things that I do in aviation. I constantly challenge myself, and I work at new ratings, and I work to perform at a higher level. The people that I fly with are highly qualified professionals. Most of them are either active duty Air Force people, or they were Air Force pilots, or professional pilots, and that's what I aspire. That's the level I aspire to be at. The ones that are really negative, that they don't give you a whole lot of encouragement, they have high standards, are tremendously important. So don't think that your standards have to change. Your standards don't have to change, but your attitude about your standards and your mindset and where you really want to be and where you really want to go. Remember, it's not about you. It's about your team, your clients, the people that you have influence on in the world, right? So that's where that all starts. So you're probably asking yourself, what is the word for this year, Jeff? I'm glad you asked me that. The word for this year is what if? What if I believe the best in people? What if I assume positive intent of somebody that did something that didn't go well, that their intentions were correct? What if I start with that mindset, that perspective, as a point of departure, as opposed to, man, they blew it again. They let me down. So what this is for me, it's a challenge to look at all the things that are positive, all the things that are good, and even the things that, well, that could have been different. What if, they had done this? If they had changed just a little bit over here, the results would have been this much greater, right? Trying to establish a framework that allows me to look at the best from all situations, right? Because our circumstances don't define our life. How we respond to our circumstances defines our life. Now notice I didn't say react, because reacting and responding are two totally different things. When I react, I'm allowing the selfish part of who I am just to emotionally express itself. And there's a place for that. It's not a regular diet, though. When you choose to respond, what you've done is that you've allowed yourself to take in the information and take it apart a little bit and look at it in a couple of different ways, maybe from the other person's perspective. We all have impact. We all have the ability to influence other people, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. We all have that ability. It doesn't matter how old or how young we are. And this morning, I was at my chiropractor's office, and this young woman, she's a mom, and she's got a little 9-month-old baby boy, the happiest little boy. I'm the father of 4, and I know a happy kid when I see one. This was the happiest little kid, and I've seen him in there before, little Jackson, and she's like, here, hold Jackson. And so I walked around the office with Jackson, and he smiled at everybody. He's 9 months old. That 9-month-old baby had an impact on everybody in that office, right? If there's somebody there that can't respond favorably, and there were people there that they were in pain. I mean, they were hurting. There was a guy in there that was in a car accident, and I know when somebody is in physical pain, and I felt for the guy, and he had a moment of joy when this baby just came and smiled at him. So my point is that we're all impacting the people that are around us. What if we recognize the fact that as leaders, as entrepreneurs, that we have a responsibility to help people be their best? And in order to do that, we can look for and expect the best from them. It's easy to find someone that's not doing something right. As I mentioned a moment ago, a lot of people, myself included, don't respond well to that. But if you catch somebody doing something right as opposed to catching them do something wrong, and you give them a little credit for it, not everybody is wired that way, but the people that are closest to you, they will light up. They will begin to respond because you noticed something that they did right. Make sure you don't do what I did with my youngest son when he was 5 years old a couple of years ago. And he did something with one of his radio-controlled helicopters in the family room. And I go, oh, Braden, that's great. That was so well done. And he turned around and looked at me, and I think he's part New Yorker as well, just like I'm all New Yorker. And he looked around at me and goes, Dad, I hate it when you get fake excited. So being sincere about it is really a big deal, because if a 5-year-old can notice insincerity, then most of the other people in our life probably can too. Dad, I hate it when you get fake excited. Like, thanks, son. So, it's a lot of work raising young leaders. That's what I am reminded of at times like that my children, when they're expressing themselves in profound ways of individuality, what they're really doing is they're using their basic leadership skills that are still developing, and they're mostly like baby rattlesnakes, which are the most dangerous of the snakes because they don't know how to meter their venom, right? So they can kill you. That's what it's like raising teenagers. They're like baby rattlesnakes. It's just all out there, right? Let's not be baby rattlesnakes. Let's take our relationships seriously. So what if you replace "I can't do that" with "I think I can do that"? I think I can find the resources. I think I can find the energy. I think I can find the creativity to do that. What if our collections improves in the next quarter, right? What if we focus on it a little bit? What if I get 2 or 3 people from my operations team and I ask them what they think and how they think that we could improve it? Because I think we can be better. I think we can do better. I can guarantee you'll find out a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't really know about. And you'll get the opportunity to be creative as an entrepreneur, which is what we really want, right? Is to begin to expect the best, right, from people. That's what if is all about for me. Your mind is powerfully creative. As I mentioned before, you can be hard on yourself, you can be hard on the people around you, or you can give them and yourself some grace. That's what if is all about for me. The mind being so creative, you can use your mind to take this time that we're in and realize that the present is right now, the future hasn't happened. Our creativity can be used to imagine the worst for the future, or it can be used to imagine the best for the future. And that's all the domain of your mind and your mindset and your worldview and your willingness to take on maybe a new word, a new challenge for the new year for yourself and have a positive impact on the people around you. I can guarantee you that when you begin to articulate a positive vision that you have, a word for the year, that the people around you will be lit up. People that care about you because they want to know that their leader, that the person that is on the pointy end of the spear in their organization is taking these kinds of things seriously and is working to make him or herself better and themselves better within the context of expecting the best from people.
Thank you for joining us for the Death to the Org Chart podcast with Jeffrey DeMure. Be sure to subscribe on Facebook, iTunes, YouTube, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. To get more information about Jeff or to order your copy of the book, Death to the Org Chart, go to dttoc.com. Go create the freedom you were meant for.